Hi, mine's Phil. I like talking about politics, and in this video, I'd like to discuss a spectacular attack on Kemi Badenoch's Tories by a prominent Republican group in America, as they say they want nothing to do with them because they're losers. Yet, Donald Trump and Nigel Farage have both been invited and will be giving speeches in one form or another for this group. But first, for daily political commentary, please hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out. So much for honour amongst thieves. The New York Young Republican Club is getting ready to host a big gala event this Sunday. Donald Trump will be addressing the guests via video link, according to reports. So, although this is a really big event and it's in Trump's native New York, the president-elect obviously can't be asked to attend in person. But someone who will be there is Nigel Farage, not as a simple guest either, but a main speaker. According to The Independent, this will be Nigel Farage's 6th visit to the United States since the general election in summer. I mean, I've lost count. Meaning, of course, he will definitely have spent way more time in America than Clacton. And I think I'm right in saying, I think he's only even claimed to have visited Clacton twice since becoming its MP. And on one of those occasions, I don't think he proved it. And they weren't full-day visits either. However, the group have not invited anyone to represent the Tories. And they said, and I'm going to have to quote this because it's both hilarious, but also lacking in any self-awareness at the same time. So the executive secretary of the group, Vishbura, said, "The NYYRC Gala is a party for winners, not globalist losers. MAGA Republicans are not interested in working with parties in the death throes of their moral integrity and electoral viability." I mean, that's pretty savage, isn't it? That would be, I mean, if someone like me or someone else on the left had said that, you would just think, you know, that's our political bias. But for the representative of a large group of Republicans to say this about their sister party in Britain, I mean, you know, it's suggesting, of course, that they do not see the Tories as their sister party anymore. You know, they clearly think Reform UK have cuckooed their way in. It's also a statement completely lacking in self-awareness, as I say. Like, does this group only hold gala dinners when their guy is in the White House? No, they've been holding these dinners when Democrats have been president as well. So clearly they're not just holding parties for winners, because they've been doing their stuff when they have been the losers. Also, they're based in New York. So it's like, aren't they always the losers? And then there's the way where they are implicitly describing Reform UK as winners, because they've invited the leader to be a headline speaker for them, but they've made a point of not inviting anyone from the Conservative Party to even attend. Wow, let's see now. The Tories won 24% of the vote, which meant, of course, technically they lost if you think of it as one winner and like a load of losers. But Reform UK won 14%. But of course, in a first past the post system, the quantity of votes means very little. After all, Trump won 49.9% of the vote, only just ahead of Harris with 48.4%. That's like a margin of 1.5%. Yet Trump can be reasonably described as having won comfortably due to their even worse first past the post system. So what matters is seats won, just as what matters is electoral college votes in America. Reform UK won 5 seats. The Tories won 121. So although I have to confess to finding this statement and attitude from New York Republicans fairly hilarious, that is just my political bias, right? Objectively, the statement is crazy. If the Tories are losers, then Reform UK are super duper shit your pants in front of the king live on television losers. Something which I confess I am kind of hoping happens if Trump gets his second state visit in Britain at some point. But I suppose the statement reflects the fact that MAGA Republicans are like believing their own hype now, just as Johnson's Tories did until reality smashed them in the face with a cricket bat. Reform UK are going to form the next UK government. After all, Space Karen said so. And it has to be said that Reform UK are much more positive about the MAGA principles than the Tories are, as far to the right as they have been lurching in recent years. Mind you, what would happen at some point in the future let's say the Democrats are back in power in America, and you know, after the fall of Trump, the MAGA Republicans are nowhere, which means the rest of the Republican Party is trying to pick up the pieces. So let's say they're consigned to electoral unviability, and the Tories are back in power in Britain. Are these young Republicans of New York going to disband themselves because they're not going to host parties for losers? No. Mind you, in the here and now, this is pretty embarrassing. Kemi Badenoch was certainly not as pro-Trump as Jenrick before the presidential election result. But after it, she went full sycophant, challenging Starmer to welcome his win and invite him to speak to the House of Commons, which is an honour almost never given to anyone. Badenoch has been desperately trying to supplant Farage's Reform UK as the main political party to do business with in Britain for Team Trump. On the evidence of this statement, she is not winning. And although nobody in Trump's inner circle has gone this far, they've actually held talks with senior Tories in recent weeks. If this view does become more widespread, it's going to be quite awkward for Badenoch. Like I've already said enough times, the Tories are effectively capitulating to Reform UK by not attacking either their policies or their MPs. Now, I do not know how they expect to win votes back if they don't attack the party which now has those votes. But if senior MAGA activists start seeing Reform UK as the emerging power on the right wing in Britain, then the Tories are going to look ever more pathetic. You know, this statement's humiliating. Labour can certainly keep it in their back pocket for use at PMQs or other debates. Mind you, Farage himself might enjoy using it on the rare occasions he can be asked to turn up to Parliament. And this isn't personally aimed at Badenoch either. You know, if Robert Jenrick had won the Tory leadership, exactly the same attitude would exist because it's based on the fact that they lost at the election when neither Badenoch nor Jenrick were in charge. It would be even more humiliating for the Tories, actually, if Jenrick had won the leadership contest because he's way more of a Trump sycophant than Badenoch. It just shows that MAGA Republicans think that they've already changed the world order. You know, in their minds, whatever they think Trump is going to do in their favour is now certain. And because they're convinced in the rightness of their own philosophy, the same will follow in Britain, heralded by Nigel Farage, their loyal slave. Although, joke's on them, Farage isn't actually a slave to MAGA, it's to Putin. MAGA are just useful idiots for the same cause. Really, a statement like this should actually be a bigger warning against supporting Reform UK. See, MAGA Republicans are ultra-nationalists. Their own motto makes it clear, make America great again. And Trump openly views all relationships as a battle for supremacy. His philosophy is there are no mutually beneficial deals. There is a winner and a loser. That's his philosophy. He's open about that. So in all his dealings, Trump obviously wants himself, maybe America, to be the winner and the other side to be the loser. And unlike with Labour, the Tories, the SNP, any political parties with relationships with Trump's Republicans, where it's essentially a diplomatic exercise, Farage gives the impression of being wholly supportive and committed to Trump's agenda. But that agenda is for every country that is not America to be losers so that America can be the winner. That is the explicit aim of Trump. It's not implied. He's open about that. And by Farage supporting this, he is saying he wants to help the UK be losers in his political crusade. So as humiliating as this turn of events is for the Tories, who are now stuck trying to support a political party which openly calls them losers who have lost their moral integrity and electoral viability, it should be a huge warning that Reform UK have much more destructive intentions for Britain than the Tories ever did. But there we are. Those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, please click the like button. And if you'd like to support the channel further, you can join for memberships. Thanks for watching. And until next time, I'll see you later.